Hi everybody. We have the pleasure of having Gaylene Eyre with us today. She is on our board, so on the Hamilton City Netball Centre's board, and she is the Director of Swimming at Swim Waipa. She's also been a high performance manager for New Zealand Women's Golf, and she's worked for Netball New Zealand for the Silver Ferns as their manager. So she's had quite a bit of sporting experience. Good morning, Gaylene.
Morning, Jamie. Just to clarify there, I was the Netball New Zealand's National Development Manager.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and then moved into the High Performance Director's role for a short time.
Oh, nice.
Take the role of the Silver Ferns manager, because that's a pretty amazing job there, and I wouldn't even slightly attempt to do a role like that.
So what did you do? High performance manager? And
yeah, I was originally started as a National Development Manager, so looked after all the development part of the program.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Which is, moving them forward into the Ferns, and then took over the High Performance Director's role.
Awesome.
Sitting behind a desk, essentially.
yeah, all the typing and admin stuff, but very important stuff.
Indeed.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about your sporting journey? So you've had a lot of experience like working within sports.
I mean, obviously I played sport as a kid, and then coached my children. And when we were living in Wanganui, I got involved. I was lucky enough to get a job with the Sports Trust down there, Sport Wanganui. And from there, it sort of just developed. I started off there in Kiwi Sport and what was called then Community Fitness and Leisure, which was working with elderly people to keep them active.
Yeah.
And, obviously love sport, love being involved in sport, and so just really moved on from there. So when we came back to Cambridge, I worked at Waterworld as a team leader, then went to Fraser High School and got involved in secondary school sport, and ended up at Sport Waikato, and away I went, really. It's just, I think, love working in sport, and then you end up doing admin roles, and it was probably a toss-up for a while about whether I wanted to get more involved in coaching or administration, but I found for me that admin I really enjoyed, because you could work across a variety of sports, rather than just being involved in one area. And so for a while, you're working across lots of sports, and then ended up getting into high performance with, when I went to women's golf and then New Zealand golf when they amalgamated. And so then, narrowed it right back down, so you're actually working in one sport. So it's a little bit of a mix, but yes, been an interesting journey.
I bet. So what is it about sport that kind of like drew you in to stay in that industry?
I guess it's a little bit about, sport is such an ingrained part of Kiwi life. So, and I loved playing sport, and I loved being involved with our children's sport and coaching. So I had the opportunity to suddenly work in something that I was really passionate about and loved. So it was an easy choice. I think if you end up working in something that you're passionate about, you're pretty lucky. And I also think it's you're making a difference to lives. We talk about it as sport, but essentially for me, it's mostly about health and well-being and keeping kids active, and helping them develop as people.
I feel like that's probably the biggest thing for me as well, just seeing what it can do, like through my own children, really what it can do for them in terms of like character building and teaching you values that you get to learn along the way.
Yeah. I mean, those are all things that obviously as parents we do, but sport really adds value to that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it teaches them from another kind of like avenue, like I say,
Yeah, totally.
So did you play a lot of sports growing up, and what sports did you?
My main sports, back in the day, that's sadly how old I am, you tended to play a winter and a summer sport, and they didn't really cross over. So in the summer I swam, and in the winter I played hockey.
Yeah.
And then did any other sport that my mates might be playing so that I could still hang out with them. So happy to, play badminton or basketball, or played a bit of tennis, not very well. That was one sport I really struggled with, to be fair. Yeah, so it was just a real mix. Anything that was going, I was happy to do it.
So what do you think the major differences between like grassroots sport and high performance?
Yeah, I mean, essentially you can say it's about expectations and performance and, that pressure and the training and all those kind of things. But I often look at it and I think, your perception is your reality. So if you're 12 and you're going down and you get a lot of pressure put on you by your coach and your parents and your teammates, that pressure for you at that moment is massive.
Yeah.
And when you're 12, that's what it feels like at 12. And yet when you're walking out onto the world stage as a silver fern or a all black or a black stick, that pressure is enormous again. And but you're older and more experienced and those kind of things. But honestly, looking at it, the biggest thing for me is the armchair critics. There's just so many people who sit at home in their armchair, and they're way better at umpire. So if we're talking about netball, they're just much better at being an umpire than the person who's worked really, really hard to be there. Or they could catch that ball much better, or they could have got that goal, or and they're much better than the coach. They shouldn't have.
Yeah, they know.
Yeah, you can imagine all the things, and I just think for high performance sport, they just get battered around. So, and look, it's all part of the process, isn't it?
Yeah.
But man alive, everyone's so much better at it than they are, and yet, if it was really that easy, why doesn't everyone do it?
That is so true, and I'm guilty of that sometimes. So
yeah, totally. Hand on heart. Absolutely. And we all do it. Don't get me wrong, but I just think, I really feel for athletes that they just get beaten around. When you start off training to be an athlete and you have this aspiration, say, to be a silver fern, you don't think about all the other stuff that comes with that, those expectations, and it's outside the game. And I don't think it's in any sport, but I mean, you can say the training and the level and all those kind of things, and of course they're different because you're at a completely different level. But for a 12-year-old or a 15-year-old that's playing in a rep team or whatever, those expectations and that pressure on yourself is all relevant to you at your particular age. I don't know, I probably look at it in a slightly different way. I just feel for them because everyone's much better at doing it than they are, and yet they do all the hard work.
It's you know, like they're our biggest idols, but then at the same time, we're the biggest critics of them as well. So it's like,
like their dedication, what they do is it's extraordinary, and they have to be extraordinary to be as good as they are. And yet, I think the armchair critic thinks for some reason they just wake up in the morning and go, oh, hey, I'm going to be a silver fern today. You know, it's a 24/7 job.
Yeah, definitely. And the mental side of it must be
huge.
That's huge, yeah. What are your thoughts on the COVID-19, the virus and everything, and how it's impacting sport this year and maybe even next year?
I mean, apart from the extremely obvious that no one's playing sport and everyone's probably feeling a little bit like caged animals at the moment because they'd like to get out and be involved. Essentially, it's not what you want to have happen in your sport, and I know for us at the pool, you know, we're looking at how we can deliver swimming in a different way. So I kind of see it as an opportunity to be creative. So, you know, and a great time to really look at our sport and go, okay, can we do this in a different way? Can we deliver our sport differently to maintain all of the physical distancing and things that we have to do? And any sport's the same. And it could well bring some really cool and exciting changes. And for me, I look at it and think probably for everyone, it's a really good reminder that actually it's that social contact of sport that is probably the most important thing about why we do it. You know, we all talk about, you know, we love the game and absolutely all those things are true. But aren't we all desperate to be able to go down to the courts on a Saturday morning and see all the people we normally see? You know? So I just see it as an opportunity to be creative and really look at our sport and go, are we doing it the best way we possibly can? And a great opportunity maybe to really encourage people to play or be involved in sport, but not sport as in highly competitive, sport as in socially. You know, this is a great time to come together and be with your friends and have some fun and you know, be active, which is all obviously good for us of health and well-being.
I think a lot of the time people forget about that's why you actually do sport, and that's why you continue to do sport as you get older. Is just to see people, just to be around people and have a laugh, have a little play with something instead of being serious all the time.
And I think, you know, maybe it's good for us to be reminded that it doesn't have to be, I'm not, you know, winning and losing, it's all part of sport. But, you know, I think sometimes we get hooked up in the competitive stuff, especially for our kids. And actually, it's just about enjoying yourself and having fun. Everyone will look and go, who won, or, you know, who got the most goals or whatever. And that's absolutely fine. I mean, I don't think you should change that. But actually, the most important part is coming together as a community.
Definitely. So you've worked in both high performance and grassroots. What is your preferred area to work in?
Oh, that's a harsh question. I think, I mean, I have, really, I loved high performance. I loved the pressure and all those, you know, parts of it. And obviously I've been to some amazing places. I've seen some amazing things, and I've been there for big moments. I think maybe because I've been on the journey of grassroots and into high performance and back to grassroots now, I'm absolutely thriving on the grassroots.
Mm.
I think for me, I feel like I'm more in touch with people and I can really make a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, whereas probably with high performance, you're kind of one step away. You know, you're behind the scenes, and obviously still really important, and you know, it's a big part of the process. But I love being able to make a difference, and obviously for swimming, the program is that I work from 6-month-old babies to the grave. So
Yeah.
you know, it's across a huge area, but we still have a performance part in there with the competitor swimmers. So
Yeah.
you still get a little bit of a taste, but yeah. So it's, and I love meddling in there. You know, probably my coach doesn't like it so much, but yeah. I mean, I'm not. I do a little bit of coaching when I need to. It's not every day. I'm not rostered on, but I can walk out and help, and I'm really enjoying that. And like for me, I'm actually working in a sport that I played as a young person, whereas netball and golf, or cricket, I was never involved in those.
Yeah, it's quite interesting how you can, you don't necessarily need to have played a sport, or people always assume that, oh, you've got to have played netball to work in netball, you know, but it's not always about that.
Yeah, and I think, you know, in terms of the role that like you're doing and is similar to what I've done, it's understanding development of athletes.
Yeah.
And you have experts and coaches who actually know the game. And most of the role is about gathering good people around you. And then really just sticking the picture together.
Yeah. So do you do any sports, or what are your hobbies like? Because you work in sport, do you have any other hobbies outside of your work in sports?
Yeah, I read a lot. I play golf. I haven't played for a little while, but again, COVID-19 has probably reminded me that I need to get my golf clubs out and start playing again.
Yeah.
I love to garden. I find that really grounds me. You know, getting out and putting your hands in the dirt, and I like. Yeah, I'm a bit of a lawn nut. I really like nice grass. I spend quite a bit of time doing that.
No pickles in your grass.
Yeah. I have been seen outside in the grass on my lawn, with a knife digging out weeds.
Yeah.
What else do I do? Oh, obviously I love watching any sport on TV.
Yeah.
I walk every day, just in terms of activity.
Yeah.
I have little moments of, you know, I go to a personal trainer and I go really well for 3 months, and then I flag it and go back to just walking. So, but I do exercise. I try and exercise at least 6 days a week.
Awesome.
And I have 5 grandchildren that keep me really, really busy.
So how many people in your bubble at level 3?
Pretty much the same as level 4 for me. My son is a farmer, and Alan, his wife, is a vet. So they're essential workers.
Yeah.
So they have a 2.5-year-old and a 9-month-old.
Mm-hmm.
So I went at level 4 to live with them, because obviously I became their daycare person. But we were lucky enough to become part of the stats, and the whole family got COVID-19. Yeah.
Was it the children as well? I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So we'll probably wrap it up there, but I've really enjoyed our conversation. Like, it's a real life COVID survivor.
Yeah, a friend of mine I spoke to in Auckland just after I'd got it, she said, I feel famous. I know someone with COVID-19. And I'm like, great. I'm real pleased about that. Yeah, certainly wouldn't wish it on anyone.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
It's lucky your family's healthy. You know, you guys are healthy and
absolutely
went into it with good health in the start. So
yeah,
very
totally.
lucky. Is there anything you would like to say to our community before we wrap it up, our netball community?
I don't think so. Probably just, honestly, the message for me would be, you know, to stay connected. Put your phones down, talk to each other, you know, get the cards out of the cupboard and play cards or play games, you know.
Yeah.
Play giraffe, you know, whatever. And you know, I think that just see it as an opportunity rather than looking at it negatively.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and stay active, you know, get walking or do something just to keep healthy.
Will do. Well, thank you so much for your time, and wish you all the best, you and your family all the best on your recovery.
Thank you.
And I'd like to catch up face to face when this is all done.
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks, Gaylene.
Bye.
Bye.